Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. So today I'm just out doing a little bit of scouting, trying to find, it's kind of late, but trying to find a decent wilderness bug out location. Kind of a temporary thing. I'll try to stop when the wind blows because I know the microphone on this thing sucks. So I did a video not long ago talking about some of the considerations for finding a bug out location kind of beforehand, before you actually get out in the woods, kind of, you know, just some considerations, things to look for. So now that I'm out here, I'm kind of looking for, different things, and it's a little bit more on the the micro level, I guess, so to speak. I'm hiding behind this big rock trying to get out of the wind. And so I'm just going to chat with you real quick about a couple of things I'm looking for. Number one is I got to find a place that's level. So if you're up in the mountains, that can be kind of hard to find level places, because you, generally speaking, you don't want to be down in the bottom of a drainage, because that's going to be the coldest area and the wettest, especially during the spring snow melt, or if you get any hot days or whatever. So you kind of want to be up on, the military crest or so of a ridge, where you're close to the water, but you're also down, not on the top of the ridge. You don't want to skyline yourself where people can see you, and you want to use the terrain as a wind shelter. So this place I found right here is not bad for like one or two people. It's not really big enough for like a large family or anything like that. But I've got a pretty level area where I'm standing here, and then I don't know if you guys can see these rocks behind me, but I've got two big rocks right here, and then kind of a somewhat of a level area down here where I could put up a tent and stuff. And these rocks are going to afford me, sorry, I'm sliding in the snow. These rocks are going to afford me a couple of things. They're going to be a good reflector for a fire, to bounce the heat back off of me. And then at the same time, they're also kind of a level of ballistic protection. If I needed to get behind them, I could get behind them fairly easily. If somebody came up over the ridge line or something like that. But they're also a wind block on another side. So even though it might not sound the best on this mic, because it's an iPhone, I'm pretty well protected from the wind right here, which is a really huge thing. Saving your body heat is big. But you also need to have resources. You need to have fire starting materials. We've got some good fire starting materials over here. Lots of good pine pitch stumps and fat wood and stuff back in here. We got lots of dead trees. And then down the hill we've got some water not too far away, so that's good as well. I'm seeing a little bit of game, game sign and stuff like that. Some cougar prints. So the predators isn't just nothing you can do about it. They roam, they come through, they're gonna come and go. If you've got your camp here and you've got a fire going, making some degree of noise, which even if you're being quiet for a cougar, that's a lot of noise, right? I mean, they're very seclusive animals. So the other thing that I wanted to have is and this is the thing that this site kind of lacks, is I wanted to be able to get my vehicle off the road and out of the site. And the road is probably a few hundred yards up over this ridge line up here, but the only bad thing is I can't really get the vehicle too much out of sight very easily. So I'd have to work on that. Kind of hide because of the wind here. But for setting up like a small two-man tent or something like that, this might not be too bad. There's definitely natural resources for building a shelter if you wanted to build a natural shelter and that kind of stuff. You could have pine bough insulation and all that kind of stuff. So this is not a terrible spot. Let's see what else. You do got some escape routes as far as getting down and out you know, pretty quickly. You can make good time. Um, there's a trade-off between being, you know, high and being able to look out and see what's around you, but then you're also more noticeable, you know, because you like I said, you want to be on the military crest so that your campfire smoke hopefully doesn't reach up above the height of the ridge line, and then it kind of disperses in the trees. That's what you're ideally looking for there too. And that's going to help reduce your signature even more, just in case it's a, you know, without rule of law situation or whatever, you're trying to avoid people, which if you're leaving your house and having to bug out, you probably want to avoid people for the most part. Anyway, this is just some ramblings of considerations for bug out location, you know, all that kind of stuff. Dead firewood, dead trees in the area. That's other good things. Watch out for widowmakers. I think we talked about that in the past. But anyway, guys, as always, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.